Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our January 8th, 2018 Board of Education meeting. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and join us. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you for being here today. It's a great way to start off the new calendar year. And our first order of business today is to provide and administer the oath of office to our 3 new board members. So I'll ask them to join me out front and we'll take care of that. All right. Well, I'll ask you to please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas
and faithfully discharge the duties of Board of Education member for Unified School District 512.
For Unified School District 512.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Well, our next order of business, I thought we'd offer up the 3 new folks to share a quick introductory comment or remark as we welcome you to the board. And so we'll start with Dr. Sinclair.
Hi. Mr. Stratton, thank you for that, this opportunity. I just want to begin by saying I appreciate the opportunity to serve the Shawnee Mission community. I want to thank Donna Bisfield for over 20 years of service to the district in the Shawnee Mission East area. And I would also like to thank all of you who helped with my campaign, including my family who are here with us tonight, in particular my spouse Doug and my sister Michelle, who really led the charge for the efforts to reach out and get to know all of you throughout the campaign process. When I reflect on the conversations I've had throughout the campaign and throughout the years that I've had the opportunity to serve as a legislative liaison with the PTA, I'm genuinely inspired by this community's commitment to public education and quality public schools. I look forward to this new chapter in our district, and I welcome your continued comments, questions, and ideas. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Guy?
I'm going to tell a story. It's something I enjoyed doing during the campaign, but I was a 3rd grade teacher in Olathe and was teaching the curriculum, cursive writing, multiplication tables, the solar system, all the typical things. And I visited my mom in Des Moines, who at that time was teaching at the alternative school in Des Moines. She was teaching home ec and child development. And she had a vase of flowers on her desk that were all from her yard. There were 30 different kinds of flowers because she could grow anything in her yard. And she told me that she was giving her students 1 extra credit point for every flower they could identify in her vase. And I rolled my eyes and said, Mom, that's ridiculous. You can't give students extra credit points for identifying a flower that's in a vase on your desk. And she said, Laura, most of these kids have never been to a library and checked out a book, and to get this extra credit point, they have to go and they have to research and they have to check out a book and they have to bring it in and they have to identify them and they have to write it down and turn it in. And if a student will do that, I'm going to give them an extra credit point. And when she died from cancer in '94, her family, of course, was heartbroken, but her students were devastated. And student after student told us that she was one of the first teachers that believed in them, and because of her, they were able to graduate. And Being on the board is important, and we're going to make important decisions, not the least of which is hiring a new superintendent. And that's going to affect all of the teachers and students and staff and administrators in this district. But at the end of the day, it's those one-to-one relationships with the teachers working with the students that are changing lives. And I'm happy and honored to support that as a member of the board. And I'm excited to see where we go from here.
Thank you. Mrs. Owsley.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I know that I am the tip of an iceberg. I am not sitting here tonight because of myself. I am sitting here tonight because of the work of literally hundreds of people and thousands of voters and the concerned folks of the Shawnee Mission School District. And so tonight is your night, and I am humbled to be participating in it in this way. So thank you, everyone who supported us throughout the course of the campaign. Thank you, everyone who cares about this district. Thank you to Cindy Neighbor for her years of service on the board, and thank you especially to my husband who had to put up with a lot. It's harder to be a spouse, and I told him that for years, and now he gets to know that it is harder on the other side. And it's easy to be the candidate, it's difficult to be the spouse. And to my children who had to sacrifice quite a bit as well. So thank you everyone for coming tonight, and I look forward to getting down to business.
Thank you. We have a very short agenda today, but thus we still need to adopt it. So we move on to item C1, and I'll seek a motion to adopt the agenda for this evening.
Move to adopt. Second.
So we have a move by Mrs. Zila and a second by Mrs. Goodburn. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. 7-0. We will move on to item E, which is an action item for the board, and we need to fill a spot for the board vice president for the rest of the term. So our terms go until June 30 of this year. We have an opening for the vice president seat. We put out a request for nominations from the board, and we received one nomination for Mrs. Mack. I'll pause here to see if there's any other nominations for anybody else to serve as our vice president for consideration. Seeing none, I'll seek a motion to approve by acclamation.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Goodburn.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Zila. It's been moved and seconded to approve Mrs. Mack to serve as our vice president for the rest of this term. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Congratulations, Mrs. Mack. With that, there's additional duties that the board shares as far as committees go. We're not going to handle those tonight, but I just thought I'd give an update as well as then ask the board for some consideration at our next meeting. One of the duties of the vice president of the board will to serve as the ex officio member to the Shawnee Mission Education Foundation Board. And so Mrs. Mack will represent us going forward for the rest of this school year through June 30. So thank you for serving in that role as well. I've had the pleasure of serving with the Education Foundation this past term. They're a wonderful group. They are incredible supporters and advocates for what we do in the district. And so we appreciate the partnership we have with the Shawnee Mission Education Foundation, and we look forward to many years to come with that. So thank you. Two other items that we'll have to consider is we are members of the Kansas Association of School Boards, KASB, and there are a variety of committees that we have with those. A couple of those have come due on June 30, so I'll put out an email to each of us to ask about someone representative as the legislative committee as well as the government relations committee. I know they sound very similar, but they do two different things. So I'll send out an email to ask for those who might be interested in those roles going forward. That is all that we have on our meeting, and now I'm going to turn to the rest of the board with F1 to see if we have any board comments. Yes, Mrs. Zila.
I just have one, and since you mentioned the Education Foundation, I just wanted to highlight, I think Mrs. Hinkle's here. There she is in the back. There she is. Just wanted to extend congratulations to you for your national spotlight that you've gotten. Is it the top 12 foundations in the country, I believe?
In our division, we're in the top 10 in the country, yes. The only Kansas City area and the only one in the state of Kansas. So.
That is awesome. Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes, Mrs. Mack.
I just wanted to say welcome to the new board members. Very excited that you're seated here. Thank you, Dr. Southwick, and for hosting the reception. For Donna and Cindy and Craig, that was very well attended. It was great to see their family members here. I also wanted to say I sent my first tweet today. So onward. Let's get going on 2018.
Thank you. Any other board comments? I'll just add that look forward to the coming year. We have a lot of work ahead of us, including the search for the new superintendent. As a reminder, our first meeting on that task is going to be January 20th, where we will go into a closed session with our consultant, Ray & Associates, who will bring forward a screened and prioritized list of candidates, and we're going to hit the ground running and spend some time looking at these folks and finding the best one to serve our district going forward. So stay tuned as we move through that process. With that, I'll seek a motion to move into executive session.
Mr. President, I move we go into executive session to discuss legal matters with our legal counsel pursuant to the exception for matters which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship under COMA. The meeting will resume in the boardroom at, time now is 8:15 p.m. No further business will be conducted following the executive session. And before we go into executive session, we will have a 10-minute recess.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to move into executive session as stated. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It is 7-0. Again, thank you very much for being here on this very important day. We appreciate the support of the district and the new board members that we have before us, and we look forward to doing your work. We are adjourned.